keeping kids safe when school starts next month.
The masks are really supposed to keep you from getting sick and other people sick.
We're going 360 on whether masks can work in the classroom.
What's the point of wearing it all day if they're just going to have it off for half an hour while they're eating and talking?
Plus, the program Denver is considering to support businesses on the rebound. And the encouraging news about a vaccine as doctors try to find a cure to treat the coronavirus. Getting help for Colorado businesses as they rebound from the pandemic and making sure they can keep everyone safe. Thanks for joining us on Denver7 News at 11. I'm Brian Sanders. The city of Denver could approve $1.5 million to make sure businesses have enough personal protective equipment. Denver7's Micah Smith reports on how that program would work.
Denver City Council is looking into creating a contract with Aurora with the specific purpose of launching a PPE program for vulnerable businesses and nonprofits. The goal of this program will be to help those businesses begin the recovery process and reopen. The almost $1.5 million in funding that could go towards supporting this program will come from federal coronavirus relief funds. For those small businesses and nonprofits who may be interested, there will be an application process. But each business that is approved will receive a kit with personal protective equipment, including hand sanitizer, disinfectants, gloves, masks, face shields, and thermometers. Since March, across Colorado, there has been a PPE shortage. And while hospitals still report a shortage of N95 masks and gowns, the state has slowly been able to acquire other types of personal protective equipment. There are actually several online marketplaces where businesses can now buy PPE, but for those small businesses who are just now beginning to address the fallout from the pandemic, PPE simply isn't a part of their budget. They don't have the money. So during tonight's meeting, Denver City Council will vote on whether or not to enter into that contract with Aurora to provide those small businesses with a little bit of relief and PPE. Reporting in Denver, Micah Smith, Denver7.
Denver Public Schools is also making sure schools have the necessary protective gear. The district got a large delivery of personal protective equipment today, including hand sanitizer, gloves, and towels. The district says it's been collecting PPE for months now and has hundreds of items inside its warehouse.
Parents need to know that, we're here, we're ready to roll for them. Hand sanitizer or disinfectant, one less thing they got to panic about. The district has done an amazing job of sourcing all this product and making sure we have it here so that we can get it out to those schools and have it ready for them.
DPS will start the school year with remote learning and won't have in-person learning until at least September 8th. With most schools in the metro area still planning to resume in-person classes next month, some say masks are a key component to keeping everyone safer. But will a fidgety first grader really keep their face covered all day? Or what about a high schooler who doesn't want to get the dreaded maskne acne? Denver7's Nicole Brady goes 360 with a look at whether masks can work in the classroom.
Mention the word masks these days and you're likely to stir up some strong emotions. But we're not going to go there with this story. We're simply asking, can we and should we expect children to wear a mask all day at school, with many districts saying they'll be required this year?
I don't like wearing it. It's so annoying. I wish the coronavirus was over.
We all do, yes, I know.
Since it's not over yet, we're going 360 with perspectives on masks from the kids, their parents, their teachers, a camp director, and a pediatrician to whom we ask the first and most important question: is it safe to cover up a child's nose and mouth?
The vast majority of children, masks are very safe to wear.
Dr. Jessica Cataldi at Children's Hospital says most kids, just like adults, can wear masks even for several hours. Those with certain physical or developmental disabilities shouldn't wear them. But overall, Cataldi believes masks are a critical part of getting kids back in school safely.
We are hopeful that a lot of these layers of protection with washing hands, using face coverings, trying to be in smaller groups will help keep kids healthy.
Districts are hoping masks will stop the spread of the virus, since many classrooms won't be able to accommodate 6 feet of social distance. But many teachers say they know the reality, and they question if kids will really follow the rules.
I teach kindergarten often, and I've already thought about kids using these masks as boomerangs.
Denver Public Schools teacher Shannon Salerno believes the youngest kids will have the hardest time. Jeffco Public Schools teacher Nancy Elliott agrees.
They don't follow directions all the time anyway, even if it's not during a pandemic. If we say, can you please sit down, we can hope they do it.
Elliott also has health issues, and she's worried about gaps in the mask policies.
So what's the point of wearing it all day if they're just going to have it off for a half an hour while they're eating and talking?
Some parents echoed that. Jill Pena says there are still a lot of questions about how masks will work.
If your child has to sneeze, do you have to bring an extra mask? Like if your child coughs or if he's sweaty or he needs to itch his nose.
Marcy Buell can imagine what a day in an elementary school classroom will sound like.
Hey kids, put on your mask. Leave your mask alone. Don't touch your friends. Don't touch your friend's mask. Oh, go wash your hands again. It's going to be tough.
I got a really good hairstyle for American Girl dolls.
One hopeful sign, some kids are getting used to wearing masks. They've been required at most summer camps, even for some of the outdoor activities.
I think the ages that struggle with it the most are the 5 and 6 year olds, but pretty much everybody else is, from day one, has been really good about it. We obviously do checks every once in a while and just say, hey, you got to do your mask.
South Suburban Program Coordinator Jessica Sierra says it's not perfect. They've used some incentives like prizes and treats to help kids comply, but the kids definitely understand the importance.
The masks are really supposed to keep you from getting sick and other people sick. I kind of don't really like wearing a mask, but we kind of have to for COVID-19.
Most of the kids told us they will wear a mask if it means getting to go back to school.
So do you think you could do this in school all year?
Mm-hmm. Except I would not want to, but I could.
Do you want to go back to school?
Yes.
What do you miss about school?
I miss with playing with all my friends.
Bottom line, keeping masks on in school is going to take more effort on the part of the kids, the parents, and the teachers. For now, we're all holding our breath and hoping. Nicole Brady, Denver7.
What will it look like? We want to hear from you. You can share your thoughts by emailing 360@thedenverchannel.com. A homeless camp still surrounds Maury Middle School in Denver. This is what it looked like outside when staff returned to school today. The encampment is one reason the city is looking into setting up sanctioned campsites. The Colorado Village Collaborative tells Denver7 the Denver Coliseum is a top choice. The inside is already set up as a shelter, and the camp would be set up outside. Once City Council approves this site, it will take about 2 weeks to get it operational. Well, we have lots of sunshine to start our work week across the Front Range. Katie LaSalle joins us with a look at our forecast. Katie?
Hey Brian, it is going to be really nice across much of the Denver metro area. Still warm this afternoon with temperatures topping out near 90. Plenty of sunshine, as you mentioned. No alerts across the state for this Monday. We will be seeing some gusty winds and the chance for a few strong storms later on this afternoon over the far eastern plains. Outside though, right now we're already at 77 degrees in Estes Park, low 80s, Broomfield, Aurora down through Castle Rock, and temperatures into the high country climbing now in Steamboat Springs, Eagle and Vale in the low to upper 70s. Your biking forecast or just getting outside forecast for this afternoon. By lunchtime, 85 degrees will be in the low 90s right around 3 o'clock. We will be seeing the chance for a few storms develop over the far eastern plains, mainly east of Greeley near Sterling and Burlington, that produce damaging winds and hail. So I'll show you the outlook, what it looks like as we go throughout the rest of the day and the rest of the week still to come.
Thank you, Katie. We do have a traffic alert right now in Parker. The southbound Parker Road area is closed from Ponderosa to Lincoln because of a crash. You can see a lot of damage to those vehicles. A car and an SUV were put on tow trucks. We are told a dump truck was also involved. Parker police say that intersection will be closed for a few hours. It isn't clear what caused the crash or if anyone was hurt. The state says it will cost at least $1 million to clean up the state capitol. The capitol was damaged during several days and nights of protest over George Floyd's death. The state says that number will likely rise as workers clean up graffiti and repair windows and doors and finish other restoration projects. The cleanup and repair is expected to last until winter. The Aurora City Council is expected to approve an independent investigation into Elijah McClain's death today. Last week, the Aurora Public Safety Committee agreed a civil rights attorney from Washington, D.C. should lead that investigation. Tonight's meeting starts at 5:30. Police cars also led a procession at the Aurora Theater shooting memorial overnight. It's now been 8 years to the day since a gunman killed 12 people and injured dozens of others in the Aurora Theater. Family and
tonight is one of those times just to remember those people that went to a movie, and the men and women of the Aurora Police Department went to save the others that were in that theater.
That memorial, by the way, opened in 2018 and features 83 cranes, one for each person who died and survived the shooting. Also at the memorial, chalk artists left messages on the sidewalks around the memorial to pay their respects. Among those that stopped by to see the artwork was the mother of Jesse Childress. He was a member of the Air Force, killed that night.
I mean, of course it's hard. I lost my son, and he was just a light.
The art will be on display until the rain washes it away. Some encouraging news in finding a cure for the coronavirus. Scientists at Oxford University say their experimental vaccine had a protective immune response in hundreds of people who received the shot. British researchers started testing the vaccine back in April. They found the vaccine produced a dual immune response in people 18 to 55 years old. Larger trials with the vaccine are still ongoing, and a trial is expected to start in the U.S. soon with 30,000 people. The city of Denver is offering 4 community coronavirus testing sites this week for people who can't make it to the Pepsi Center. Today, testing will be at Mississippi and Federal. Other sites this week include Revision on Morrison Road and the Swansea Rec Center. Those sites will be open from 9 to 1. People can also get tested at Montbello High School Saturday from 10 to 2. The city says anyone is welcome, regardless of their insurance or immigration status. Colorado reported more than 350 new cases of the coronavirus yesterday. That brings the state's total to more than 40,000 since the pandemic began. The number of hospital beds in use by COVID patients also continues to rise slightly. There are more than 400 hospital beds in use currently, but that's still half of what we saw back in April.